Hello, Patrick. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing fine. Hey, Patrick, we've got just a few minutes before the trading deadline hits.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, do you believe the Rockies will do any more dealing?
You know what? I thought earlier today that there was a chance Cargo could get moved. I'd heard through the grapevine that the Orioles were a possibility. That's no longer a possibility. I thought the Minnesota Twins might be a long shot, but I haven't heard anything back on them. It's looking less and less likely as the deadline grows closer and closer that they're going to do anything, other than, of course, the blockbuster from the other night. You know, we still have a half hour. Things can happen, but it doesn't look like anything major is going to happen.
Well, I'll be fine with that. I don't want to see Dick Monfort cry again.
Well, yeah, and Patrick, I want to ask you about that. I have a theory, and I'm serious about this. It was so painful for Dick Monfort to let Troy Tulowitzki go that he might be saying to his front office staff, you know what? That's enough. I can't deal with this anymore. Carlos Gonzalez is hitting well. The fans might get angry and revolt if they haven't revolted already. And I don't want to do anything big anymore. Let's just be happy with what we've done so far.
There might be something to that. You know, I was in Chicago when both Bridich and Monfort talked to the media back in Denver. So I wasn't there, and I didn't get asked. Certainly didn't get asked Monfort the question that I would have, and that would have been this: Tulo is basically on the record saying he was blindsided that you two had a gentleman's agreement that Tulo would be in the loop on all trade conversations, basically in exchange for the idea that Tulo would be the good soldier, that he would not go public with his demands to want out of Denver and play for a winning team. And I think that had a lot to do with Dick's tears. I think he felt, and I'm reading into his mind, maybe he doesn't feel this way, but I'm sure he was feeling a little bit guilty that he didn't uphold his end of the bargain. And I think that's part of it. But I'm not willing to go so far out to say that Dick is to a point where his feelings are hurt so much or he's so upset about that he won't make deals going forward, because I think this shows that Jeff Bridich has gained a foothold in this franchise, and if he gets the chance, he's going to push as hard as he can to do what he wants. And as painful as that might be a very good step for this franchise.
I'd like to follow up on that, and I'll keep this civil, really. What bothered me about that, Patrick, and I'd like to get your feedback, because you are in Chicago, two aspects. Why wouldn't Monfort get on a plane and fly to Chicago and actually confront Troy and say that would be number one? And number two, Dick, by the way he responded that press conference, is not showing ownership, not showing presidency. It seems to me like he's showing too much personal involvement. That's one of the problems with his team, is that they're too much involved, committed.
It's fan-like behavior.
Yeah, I mean, what was your reaction to both of those? That they neither Bridich or Monfort were there to say, you've been traded. They left everything up to Walt Weiss.
Yeah, well, you guys probably know this by now. How this went down essentially was Weiss had to tell Tulo. They were in Weiss's office in that rickety little clubhouse in Chicago. It was, from what I understand, it was Tulo who actually got on the phone to call Monfort and say what is going on here. Bridich, I don't think, sees it the way Dick Monfort does. I think you guys are right when you say that Monfort is more emotionally attached to his players than maybe an owner should be, because I think it blinds you. I don't see that with Jeff Bridich, and I certainly can tell you for a fact Tulo does not see that with Jeff Bridich.
There's a detachment there.
There were no tender feelings. There were no. It was business, all business for Jeff Bridich. Any sentimentality, the phone call between him and Tulo had no sentimentality whatsoever. So I think what you've got now is you've got an owner who's in a rock and a hard place, so to speak. He's torn between being this loyal, sentimental guy, which he is. I think everybody knows that, maybe to a fault, and a new up-and-coming brash GM who wants to mold this team in his image, no matter what happens. And I think there's going to be a tug of war going on in that front office because of that.
He's Patrick Saunders of the Denver Post, writes baseball, and that segment brought to you by John Elway Cadillac. Tell you more about them in a second. Patrick, let's talk overall trading deadline, what other teams have done. Who has won the Major League Baseball trading deadline so far?
Well, so far it's the Blue Jays. I mean, not only Tulo, but David Price, and then they picked up Revere today. They've done. You know, they're all in. They're all in, and you know, good for them if it works out. I think they've done a really good job. Gosh, I don't know. The Dodgers have made some moves that don't really impress me that much. I mean, they've done a lot of things, and
well, they shored up the rotation, that's for sure. They got a couple of starters.
They did, but guys, I'm not overly thrilled by them. I'm a little surprised the Dodgers didn't get
Hamels or Cueto or Price.
I'm a little surprised. I mean, yes, they did bolster their rotation, but I'm a little surprised that, given their money and their habits, they didn't go all in on somebody. We haven't heard anything out of the Giants.
Well, wait, no, they picked up Mike Leake.
I was going to say,
up a pretty good starter.
I'm sorry, guys, my head's spinning.
No, that's okay. There's a lot going on.
They did pick up Leake. Yeah,
I thought that was sneaky good. I like that move.
You're right. I totally spaced it.
Yeah, he's pitched very, very well lately.
He's like 7-2. I thought that was a sneaky good move.
Right about that. I'm just trying to go through the teams in my head. But bottom line, I'm very impressed with what Toronto did. I really am.
If the Yankees, and I'm not up to date, I was at Broncos training camp today, but I saw that the Yankees were trying to make a late move for Kimbrel. I think if somebody picks him up, they're going to get somebody that's going to make
he's up to 30 saves already.
And guys, forgive me because I've been working on a big Tulo piece all day for Sunday's paper, so I'm trying to keep up with the trade. Chapman, has he gone anywhere yet?
No, not yet. There are still rumors that that the Diamondbacks could be interested. And Patrick, that brings up another question that impacts the NL West. So the Diamondbacks are in the hunt for Aroldis Chapman, one of the best relievers in the game. The Giants pick up Mike Leake. The Dodgers go and get Matt Latos and Alex Wood to shore up the rotation.
And 13 other players.
Yeah, I mean, what year are we looking at before the Rockies
my same question.
can contend?
Seriously, and Bridich will never admit this, Monfort will never admit it, I'm thinking this team seriously considers itself a contender in 2017. They're not going to say that because they can't say it. I don't see it coming together next year. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. If Cargo doesn't get moved now, I could see it happening in the wintertime. But realistically, if you take some of the young prospects that are coming up and where their young pitchers are, and you take the studs on the team now, and Arenado and Dickerson and LeMahieu, perhaps Charlie Blackmon, in my mind, it points to 2017.
I think you're absolutely
You mean 18?
right.
No, 2017.
2 years from now?
Yeah, I think that's the window that this could come together.
Wow.
Well,
in their mind.
That's early to me.
That's a year early for me too, because I think they pick up 3 pitchers that are all
20, and 22.
And with the people coming up, Story, Dave Dahl, Tom Murphy, that those guys, I don't see them being impactful until 2018. I mean, I think we're looking at it.
I could see Murphy coming up as a September call-up. I could see Story coming up as a September call-up this year. 16, next year be Hundley's last year. They would probably move Murphy in. Get him some playing time next year. David Dahl is, he's a ways away still. Maybe I'm being overly optimistic, but certainly a target date by 2017. I don't think that's completely unrealistic.
Okay,
but we can agree to disagree.
Would you, since we talked Story is supposedly now the #1 position player in the minors. Would you throw him into the fire, get rid of Reyes during the offseason and say, kid, you're our shortstop? The Cubs are doing it. Other teams are doing it. They're bringing up the 21, 22-year-olds. We've seen what the Cubs have done. Other teams are doing. Houston with a shortstop. Would you do that?
I'd do it. Yeah, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Maybe not this summer and maybe hang on to Reyes. Problem is, with his contract and his age and his injury history, talking about Reyes, I'm not sure what you're going to get. But yes, Woody, I would do that. I think if you have a dynamic infield, now that Tulo's gone, you have a dynamic infield going forward. Arenado at third, Story at short, LeMahieu at second, first base. I guess Paulson's, he's okay. He's not a superstar. He's okay. Yeah. That's pretty salty. That's pretty good. I got to admit, when I first saw Trevor Story, as big-bodied as he is, as stocky as he is, I was a little bit skeptical that he could play short. But having seen him a little bit in spring training and talking to some scouts about him, he moves pretty well. He glides pretty well. And I think with the amount of territory that Arenado covers at third and the number of shifts that the Rockies utilize now, it's certainly workable. He's going to be raw, but, boy, he is a talent, and he can hit.
Patrick, a lot of teams in the NL West have signed big TV deals. Dodgers have a $2 billion deal. Giants, Padres, and Diamondbacks have all signed big TV deals. Yesterday, the St. Louis Cardinals announced a deal, $1 billion for 15 years, so they're going to have a lot more money to play with. Have you heard anything about what's coming up for the Rockies? Are they going to be able to compete as far as TV money goes? Because that also will allow them to compete on the field.
You know what? I got to be honest with you, Les. No, I have not.
Okay.
And I have not.
I know it's early.
I have not even explored it, truthfully. I obviously I know about the deals the other teams have made, and I think the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Derek Gold's story yesterday about the $1 billion deal for the Cardinals. I can't imagine the Rockies, given their history, even though they're a regional franchise, I can't imagine they're going to pull in a deal like the Cardinals, because, as you guys know, and Woody knows this firsthand, the Cardinals are everything to this city. It's a different mentality. But I'm sure the Rockies are going to get, I would think, they're going to get a more lucrative deal than they have now, but I don't know if it's going to approach anything that the big shots get.
Yeah, I would just add to you guys that I think they are going to have a $1 billion year, $20 million a year for 50 years.
Patrick, appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight in St. Louis.
Okay, guys.
All right, Patrick Saunders, the Denver Post, and that segment sponsored by...
You could announce a $1 billion deal.
John Elway Cadillac.
I
am
making $1 million. I'm making $1 million.
Cadillac dealer.
Over 100 years.